Hi, I'm Dylan Jansen. Welcome back to the lab. Today, I'm very excited to introduce you to Silvia Soltero-Zepeda. She is one of our key core founding leaders at our agency here in Omaha, Nebraska. And I'd like to give Silvia a chance to introduce herself.
Hi, thank you, Dylan. Yes, like Dylan said, I joined Legacy about 2 years ago. And my mission personally is to help my community with, and everyone, as an agency, we have a lot of services that can help business owners, and that's what I'm focusing on specifically. In the Omaha metro area, there's a lot of business owners that are very underserved when it comes to finances, when it comes to education, what to do with their money. So, pretty much, I am promoting a boot camp for business owners once a month, and it's completely free. I invite people. We talk about finances within their business, how to finance their business, and just general financial education.
So you mentioned a couple of things that you guys go over in the boot camps, but what other topics would they learn about?
Well, it goes from a very basic level of financial education, how to start an emergency fund, how to invest, how to put money away for retirement, how to help your employees, how to pay less in taxes. Just different topics. Every month we have different topics that we focus on, but it goes from a very basic level to a higher level of financial education, depending on what kind of business you have. After that boot camp, we set up an appointment and we focus on that particular business just to set up a goal that works for them.
Very cool. Very cool. And is that boot camp, is that mostly designed for people who are new or young in their business, or for people who have had businesses for a while, or people who are maybe looking at that kind of retirement stage or getting out of their business? Do you guys do any of that as well, or is it more of a certain target?
It's just for all levels of business. If you're wanting to start up a business and you want to learn about like financing your business and how it works, you're welcome. If you've had your business established for 10, 20 years and you've never thought about like retirement planning, investing back into your business, having your business finance your own business, like it goes to from anywhere from a startup business to a business that's been established for a long time.
I see. And I mean, with what we do, being business owners ourselves, brings a unique perspective when you are talking to your clients and when you're doing these workshops. But how did you, I guess, narrow down your focus? Because there's so many different, all of our partners have a different target that they really lean into, that they really care about. How did you find yourself passionate for these business owners?
I hope everyone, right? But at the same time, I notice that business owners, we work really hard. And I say we because I'm a business owner myself. We work really hard and we focus on making sure that our business is successful. But then when we make all this money, we don't know what to do with it. Years go by. Next thing you know, you're getting close to retirement age. And then what? Like you never did anything to establish a retirement fund. I noticed that there was a lack of education for business owners when it comes to that because if you're a W 2 employee, you work for a company, they provide 401ks, they talk to you once a year about enrolling into all these benefits. But then if you're a business owner, you have to focus on so many things and you kind of forget about yourself.
Right.
I also do PNC, property and casualty insurance. And what I've noticed when I started talking to a lot of business owners, I started asking them about their finances. And a lot of them had no idea. They didn't have a plan established when they retire, or they don't provide any retirement plan for their employees. And I saw that there was a huge need to do that. So I decided to focus on that area.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just at a workshop in Atlanta, and one of the gentlemen there who specializes in succession planning and opportunities or benefits for business owners, he's like, there's a lot of people who will come by as employee benefits salespeople, with whether it's like an Aflac or some kind of employee benefits plan. but you don't meet a lot of guys who are focused on the employer benefits, right? And so being able to help out those employers with plans that actually benefit them and their family in a way that protects them, then it isn't so, focused on them providing for their employees, which they're doing all the time, but also something that they can set up for themselves. And what's really cool about, what we do for these business owners is we can build a plan that's flexible and it grows and it changes as the business changes.
Yeah. And what I've also noticed after talking to the majority of the business owners is, oh yeah, I talked to someone, 2 years ago and they were trying to sell me this. And that's when I decided that we need to educate our business owners. We need to give them the tools, the education, the information, have them research what we're talking about. And then after that, they make a decision based on the information they got. So we pretty much don't sell them anything, but we educate them and then we provide a solution
Right.
to what their need is, because it's not one size fits all. Depending on your business, depending on your goals, that's how we're going to structure your plan. It's financial planning. It's not
Right.
selling.
Right.
And there's a lot of people out there that sell.
Well, and it seems to me like the biggest challenge people have is reluctance to do the necessary planning. And it's not something that, you know, we're fortunate enough to be in an industry where we are constantly going through continuing education, recertification, and all these things to know about, the changes to laws or the tax system and all those types of things. But if you're a business owner in a different field, like it's hard to know even where to start, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why I decided to do that. And I like to partner up with people, lawyers, uh, accountants, people that are in the different area
Mm-hmm.
than finances, so we can help the business owners have a very successful financial plan.
So really, what you bring is a team with you. It's not just kind of what Sylvia does, what Sylvia knows. It's the team that kind of comes around together to make sure the plan is orchestrated in a way that's beneficial and dynamic in all the different areas like tax and law.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Very
Because
cool.
that's important.
For sure. I like to, whenever we do these types of meetings, these types of podcasts, I love it when we get a chance to kind of share some of your background and your history. I know you've been in financial services. How many years would you say?
Well, I started in a financial institution in 2008. The only thing that I really didn't like is that I was very, I depended on the schedule. I didn't have a lot of freedom of my time. I started in different levels. When I got to management, it was I was the first one in, the last one out, and I missed a lot of my kids' activities. I missed a lot of my field trips, and at the end of the day, you don't get that back, you know?
Right.
So back in 2016, I decided to take a leap of faith and start a new business. Got licensed for my securities, got licensed for property and casualty, got licensed for life and health, and decided to start an insurance business. And I had more freedom. But then with that company, I could only offer one product, which was whatever they had to offer. And I am very grateful that I was able to meet you and be part of Legacy. Now I get to work for the client, not for a company.
Right.
As an independent agent, you pick and choose what's best for the client, not just selling a product. And what that did for me is that I can now work around my personal schedule, and it gives me the freedom to do what I want, to work the hours I want to work. And like I say, I'm always working, but I'm never working. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you love what you do, it's never a job.
Right.
It's just a passion.
So making that transition from the first financial services company to being an independent broker, what I guess if you could kind of water it down to like two or three biggest impacts for your personal business? Like, what has that meant for you working with people, and what opportunity has that shown with having that kind of flexibility?
So being independent brought me a lot more opportunity to work for the client versus working for a company and just offering one product. And also, I got to keep it was my client that I was working for. I wasn't working for a company, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Hmm.
It gave me a lot of freedom when it comes to time because now I get to work around my schedule versus, you know, a corporate 9 to 5.
Right. So, how has your business changed even in the last couple of years? I know you're doing these business boot camps, but what else have you really leaned into as a way to help people?
Like I said, I've been focusing a lot of my time with business owners, specifically in the South Omaha community. Being Mexican myself, that's something that I'm really passionate about, helping people create that financial stability, financial freedom. We are in this great country that gives us the opportunity to grow financially, and sometimes we don't have that education. So I'm really passionate about helping people, you know.
Yeah, do you, the financial industry is very old, right?
It is.
Debatably, one of the oldest industries, especially one of the most established, kind of old school, slow moving, slow to evolve type of industries. So, do you see that as a unique challenge for different groups of people?
I get what you're trying to say. It's very rare to see a woman, Latina, in the financial industry. It just is. And I don't consider myself very old. So, I mean, I'm not young, but I mean, a young Hispanic Latina in the financial industry, that's not something that you see every day. And it is a little bit more challenging than if I was a sweater boy,
Yeah,
right?
right.
What do you call them?
What the
White male and
male, pale, and stale.
there you go.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's very different and it's challenging. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's the purpose of why you're doing what you do. And when you bring your knowledge to your heart and you really want to help people succeed financially, I guess it doesn't really matter how you look. It doesn't matter your gender or your background. If you are passionate about helping people, you're going to be able to transmit that. And I focus on education, informing people about the different options they have, and they make the decision. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I've noticed. I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase education isn't information, it's transformation. So education really happens when people learn to see things differently. It brings a new perspective, right? It also should empower people to make those decisions. Especially, talking about the old industry that we have of the financial industry. I don't know what you'd say confidently 40, 50 years, the style and the approach of the financial advisors is really a tell them what they need, sell what they need. Like, they don't know what they need, so you got to tell them what they need. And what I love to see is really this new age of financial planning that I feel like is really taking full momentum. And it's really where we're seeing all the growth is really a partnership of relationship between us and our clients, as opposed to this salesmanship that really kind of brings some of the baggage that we're constantly bumping up against. Uh, there's so much, it's kind of like the used car salesman, the insurance agent, the financial advisor, right? It's that salesmanship that we want to change the opinion, I guess, of our industry. And I feel like what you're doing is just such a great example of doing that.
thank you. People are really smart. And now with all the technology, you you just tell them the options that are out there. They do their own research.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're just educating them, you're building that trust. You're, like you said, you're building that relationship. I never try to sell anything to
Mm-hmm.
anyone. I just inform them. I just let them know of the different options
Mm-hmm.
that are out there. And then I give them homework. I say, do your own research. Give me a call. I will guide you through the whole process. Like I've had people that they don't have an emergency fund account,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not going to talk to them about investing or retirement planning or anything else if you don't have the basics. So
Right.
we really start from the basics. And there are people that have been in business for many years. They make a lot of money and they still don't know the basics. They don't have the basics down. And it's really sad because then they make really bad financial decisions. So it's my job to educate them and let them know, hey, this is out there. There are a lot of great products and services that are going to benefit you in the long run. And that's really rewarding
Mm-hmm.
to me. Just changing one person at a time, just giving them the information they need to make a right decision.
And I mean, the way that you're able to help, people, especially these business owners, would you, would you encourage somebody to have, if they already have a plan, to make sure that it's reviewed, to make sure that it's up to date with all the new types of products and accounts and services that are offered? I know I see a lot of people who are overpaying for things, or they're not receiving the types of benefits that they should be. What would you say to people who say, well, I already have a plan, so
Oh
I,
yeah, for sure. I mean, I would definitely recommend we can go over their plan. And if it's something good, which I've done, I'm like, okay, you're doing great. Keep up the good work. You can always add or remove things. Something I really like to do is refinance their finances. Normally, people know about refinancing their mortgage, right? But refinancing their finances, that gives them more freedom with cash flow so they can do more things with their money.
would you explain refinancing your finances just a little bit more for people listening?
Right. So refinancing your finances is you can refinance your auto insurance. You can refinance your taxes. You can refinance your mortgage. I'm not saying that you're going to change drastically the
Mm-hmm.
way you live, but if you want to make some changes in your life, you really got to make some changes in your life.
Right, we've heard that before.
And people don't want to sacrifice. So, it's
Mhm.
like going to the gym, right? If you're going to go work out, but you don't want to put in the work, then it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to happen overnight either. You got to show up every day or at least 5 times a week so that you can see the results long run. This is exactly the same. It works the same for financial, for your health, for eating healthy, everything.
Yeah, I like to say wealth and health are often they rhyme, or they're parallels to one another. A lot of the same concepts that make you healthy are the same. It's the same type of reaction to make you wealthy. So I actually really resonate with that. So when's your next business boot camp?
As of right now, I don't have anything planned for the month of September. Actually, I'm going to be traveling to a different state just to learn from other people that do the same thing that I do. I always like to be learning, bringing in more ideas just to help the people in our community. Now, that doesn't mean that I cannot help somebody that lives in California, for
Mm-hmm.
example, Florida, Texas. We can help anybody that lives in the U.S. But I mean, we're in Nebraska, Omaha,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna be focusing on the community here. But yeah, so right now I'm gonna be traveling to get more knowledge and learn from other people that are doing the same thing that I am.
Something else that's really exciting is you're actually looking to build out your team right now. Isn't that right?
Correct. I'm always looking for people that have a passion to help other people. We have a great support system to where we work together. We help each other out until you're ready to do it on your own. This is very rewarding and you get to help people.
So they'd be working directly with you. Is that right?
They would, but then they have the opportunity to build their own business. So they would work with me, not for me,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. But they'd
Yeah.
be able to learn and be coached and mentored
Right.
in their business.
Correct.
Very cool.
Correct.
Well, what kind of person or what kind of qualities would you look for in that team member?
Somebody that does not want to be a salesperson.
That's a
Somebody
good
that
start.
wants to be an educator, somebody that wants to help people. And like I said, through the education process, you get to help a lot of people and it's rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, It is. And qualifications is be ready to travel, be ready to learn a lot, be ready to be coached.
Coachability. Yeah.
And if you're somebody that doesn't know if you really want, if you're really going to like this industry, well, you get to test drive it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no contracts, anything. You come, you shadow, you take it a shot. If you like it, then we start filling out paperwork. And if you don't, then, maybe you learn something new.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that's what's so cool is, this is one type of industry or position where, let's say you do it for a year, 2 years, 3 years. Well, if you decide to go somewhere else and work a different career, different jobs, or a different business, you're still getting paid on the work that you did for 1, 2, or 3 years while you're here. If I go sell cars, or if I go, I don't know, if I'm a manager somewhere and I work there for 5 or 10 years and I leave,
That's it.
they're not paying me residuals on that. But this is an industry that a lot of people do find ways to do it on a weekend evening basis while working with folks like yourself and the other advisors. But I think it's really cool that it provides that kind of value to somebody. That's not just this year, but it's also potentially for the rest of your life. You can receive dividends on the hard work that you do now, which has a really nice way of snowballing, which
Right.
is so cool.
Right. And this is the thing, like, you don't have to work 40 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
How many hours do you work?
if I had to add all the hours that I really work, and when I say work, is sitting in front of a computer, punching numbers. This is a little embarrassing, but I can probably I work 8 hours a week. The rest of the time, when I'm talking to people, I don't consider it work.
Yeah.
When I'm getting to know them, when I'm learning about their business, when I'm explaining to them the different options that they have, I don't consider that work because
Mm-hmm.
it's something that I'm really passionate about and I love helping people. When I'm sitting in front of the computer, I consider that work.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say 8 hours in a week. So if you ask me, are you part-time or full-time? I don't know.
I'm no time.
I'm no time. Like I said, I'm always working, but I'm never working.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can be out walking my dogs and I start talking to someone and we start connecting, and next thing I know, I schedule an appointment with them. That's considered work, right? Well, not for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't feel like work, but it's working.
But it's not. When you love what you do, it's not work.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
So 8 hours.
If that.
Yeah.
My assistant does most of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and that's the coolest thing is that you get to spend more time doing what you are passionate about. So you get to spend more time helping people, sitting down, going through whether it's allocations and budgeting and long-term planning. That does, it's a light load to carry, so it's easy to do it.
For sure.
Yeah, that's so cool. With all the different things that you are educated on and that you teach on, obviously there is no silver bullet or one size fits all kind of solution. But if there was a singular solution or service that you feel like people really just need to know about and they don't, what would that one kind of superstar thing be?
My personal favorite?
Yeah. What's your favorite?
My favorite is an index account.
And tell us about the index account.
An index account, you get to grow your money tax-free. You get to take out your money tax-free. And your money is safe. I mean, there's different accounts when it comes to index accounts, but the whole concept of index accounts is my favorite.
So you said keep it safe. Can you elaborate what safe means?
You don't lose money. You never lose money. You have the potential for money to grow, but you can never lose. And whatever money you're gaining is tax-free. So it is my favorite.
It is my favorite. What's your other favorite solution?
It's not my least favorite, but so the index account would be to grow money in a safe way, tax-free. There's another thing that I really like, which protects your current finances in case that you have a critical injury, critical illness, or you have a terminal illness. it pays you out money while you're still alive. It's living
Hmm.
benefits.
And what is a living benefits policy?
So it's a new kind of life insurance policy that gives you money while you are still alive to keep you alive.
And do you have to pay that money back, or is it taxed, or are there any gotchas?
No, you do not have to pay the money back, and it is not taxed because it is a life insurance policy. So
Interesting.
it,
And
it
does it cost any extra to have that on the plan?
it does not. It's just an option that's been added, and I would never offer a life insurance policy that does not have this feature because you're doing a disservice to the client.
What can you tell me about these companies that offer the living benefit plans?
I can tell you that they've been around for a very long time, almost 200 years, more than me, of course, and
Little longer.
little longer than me. And however, they are not very known. They're not very well known. Why? I have no idea. When I found out about this, I'm like, this is the best thing ever. Everybody should have one.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have a critical injury and you're going to get 80% of the amount of money that you're insured while you are alive to help you, pay for your finances,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy not to have one. The old type of insurance company, you have to die to get the benefit. Well, you would never get the benefit, but your beneficiary
Right.
would. Those are kind of like outdated. You know how
Mm-hmm.
the phone companies are always calling you, do you want to upgrade your phone? Well, I would be saying you need to upgrade your life insurance because they do offer this great benefit that everyone
And
should have.
there's no extra cost.
There is no
to
extra cost.
upgrading.
It's already built into that. So that is the number one way of protecting your current finances,
Mhm.
because it doesn't matter how much you've worked, how much you've saved. If if you have a cancer or a stroke or a heart attack and you're hospitalized for
Mhm.
months, it doesn't matter that you have health insurance. That's
Yeah,
going to run out.
it's astonishing if you look up the current statistics for health insurance debt in the U.S. and the bankruptcies that follow. So that's I just looked this up recently. So 60% of bankruptcies in the U.S. are caused by medical bills, and 80% of those people who have bankruptcy from their medical bills had major medical coverage. So somehow there's this massive gap between what our health insurance is designed to do and what we actually need when we have that critical illness. We have some friends that we work with who, they had a triple bypass cardiac arrest, and it took him about 3 years to get back to working again through rehabilitation and all the surgeries and like I said, rehab and things like that. He was not working for those 3 years. So him being able to access that money from his life insurance policy was an absolute lifesaver for them. They actually paid off their house. They, again, didn't work for a couple of years. They had more money left over. They could start some funding for their kids' college plans. Like, I feel like if you knew that you were going to have a medical illness, which 60% of us have a critical illness before we turn 65, it does not make sense why you wouldn't do a couple phone calls and make that upgrade.
But this is the thing, Dylan. We never think it's going to happen to us.
Mm-hmm. Sylvia, thank you so much for joining us today on the lab, and we look forward to seeing how you guys grow and looking forward to all the great things that you do.
Thank you.